Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch Battlestar Galactica Season 2, Episode 7 now. I just watched the episodes 5 and 6 this morning and at the beginning of this afternoon. If you want to see my reaction video about these two episodes into the same video, I'm gonna put the link for the Season 2, for the Season 3 and the Season 4. I'm gonna post 2 episodes at a time in one video. I know that the episodes 6 and 7 are working together, but I know also that during the Season 2 we have other episodes which are working together, and if I want to have these ones into the same video, I have to separate the episode 6 and the episode 7. So I'm doing it just right there. About what happened during the last episodes, I'm still shocked, I'm still sad about what happened during the episode 5. I love that the show is exploring that kind of subject, the fact that the Silence kidnapped women to make them have their child, to rape them to make them have their child. It was really hard to watch, it was really hard to think about that, to understand what it means and all of that. The only good thing is the fact that they didn't succeed. For them, the reason why they didn't succeed is the fact that they need love to create really a child, and that's why Hilo and Boomer met and they were trying to make Hilo fall in love with her, having the two of them making sex and having a child. They succeeded, she is pregnant, but now she's on our side. I still don't know now, and she still doesn't know now what they really did to her, to Starbuck. Did they take her ovaries and they're gonna do something with that, and I cannot imagine what, and that's terrifying me, really, what they can do with that, create a child with their ovaries. That's just terrifying me. I can't imagine that happening. And if it was not that, they did something with her ovaries directly into her belly, and maybe she's pregnant now of a child which is gonna be half human, half Cylon. What is she gonna do with that? Or maybe that didn't succeed neither, but she had sex with Andres just some hours before, so maybe she's pregnant with his child. And what is she gonna do also with that information? Because she said that she doesn't want to have kids, so maybe she's gonna keep it or not. With the two options, you know, if she's pregnant because of the Cylon or if she's pregnant because of Anders. What is she gonna do no matter what? And maybe she's not pregnant, maybe she has her ovaries and she's not pregnant. I wish for that to happen, but even if it's happening like that, even if she's not pregnant, they did something to her body. They tried to make her have a child, or they tried something, and that's killing me for her. That's so painful for her to imagine that they did that to her body against her willing, against that's heartbreaking for me, because I love her since the beginning. She's one of my favorite characters, and also because that's just so disgusting, the fact that they did that. I mean, since episodes now we are talking together, you know, with the fact that Silence, human Silence, you know, Silence who have the appearances of humans, they have feelings. They think that they have feelings, but they really have feelings because they are feeling stuff, you know. They are feeling when it's cold, they are feeling when it's hot, they are feeling when it's painful. So it's okay for me now to say that they have feelings. I'm still not believing that they have a soul, and that's disturbing me a lot because it's contradicting all of what I think. And I love the show for that, you know, for making me think about all of that. Us, we are discussing about that on the comments since episodes, and during this episode 5, they show that the Silence are acting like that, are doing that to people, to humans. That's not really helping me to want to know them more, to want to, you know, understand them more, know more about them, try to think about them, what can they do, how can we live with them, or stuff like that. Like, just right now, I don't want to hear about that anymore. I don't care. They did that to Starbuck, to all of these women. I cannot appreciate, not just a little bit, a civilization, if it's not a race, if it's not something, which is doing that. I can't. So okay, Caprica's boomer just right there, she's pregnant with Philo and she loves him and she wants to have this child with him, and she's leading them on Cobble, you know, to find the sun, for the arrow, for finding Earth and all of that. Okay, she's on our side now, and okay, our feelings are real, and okay, our emotions are real, and all of that. So okay for her, you know, because she's betraying the other Silence. But you know, the blonde Silence and all of the rest of the Silence, I want to hurt them really bad right now. So we'll see. We'll see what is gonna happen to them, what is gonna happen with me, you know, thinking like that about them. We'll see. Lee, he kissed her, he kissed Starbuck, and he said that he loves her, to her, directly to her. I don't care that it didn't end up with the two of them hugging and being together. She's hurt, she's such in a bad mood position, she suffered, and she had feelings also for Anders, and she promised him that she was gonna come back, and there's a lot of stuff that she needs to tell to Lee, and that's gonna be hard for both of them to handle these informations. But they need to talk to each other really. And Lee, he needs to be comprehensive for once, you know, to not be impulsive, to not be jealous. Is he gonna succeed? I don't have a lot of hope for that. We didn't have a lot of Gaius during the last episode. Am I sad about that? Not really. I have to be honest. He's still not one of my favorite characters. He's still a character who is annoying for me, but I love the scenes with him now because he's really interesting, and his conversations with the blonde Silence are really interesting. I'm having a lot of theories about him and her. For me, she's a bug inside of his head, or he's a Silence, and if he is a Silence, maybe he's a Silence who is like the master of the god that created them, is having the same appearance and the same mind, because the mind of the master was transferred to him. I'm saying all of that because of the fact that he was remembering that place on Cobble, because of the fact that he's the protector of God's children, because she was saying a lot to him during one of the last episodes that he had to be a human, that he had to be a man. Like, if you are telling him that like that, I'm gonna be like, okay, he's not human, he's not a man. We'll see. And her, she was saying goodbye to him, you know, when they were on Cobble. She was not, I don't know how to say it, she was not wearing the same dresses than she was wearing before, you know, the stripper dresses that she can wear. She was really wearing normal clothes, and when he left Cobble, she was almost saying goodbye to him. So for me, we had a different version of her when he was on Cobble. That's interesting. How can he have different version of her into his mind? Do you understand what I mean? She's appearing for him because of that thing that he has into his mind, that bug, or because of the fact that he's a Silence. But how that appearance, which is happening because of his mind, can be different because of different places. Do you understand what I mean? I have trouble to understand that, but I'm thinking of that. And she was showing him the child that they can have if he's going on her side. They can have together a child. I don't think that she is already pregnant. I think that it was a vision of the future that they can have together, and she was giving him a reason to be on their side, and also a dream, you know, a future, a destiny also, by telling him that he was going to be the protector of the child and all of that. Yes, him a destiny, and he needs that, I think. So now we're on Cobol, we're searching for the song and for a map or something like that to go to Earth. Adama's father decided to join us. That's great. I cannot wait to see them, you know, being at peace again. Like Lee, he needs to talk with his father. Starbuck, she needs to talk also with Adama's father. He has so much unfinished business to deal with. And the chief is gonna meet Caprica's boomer, who is pregnant with Hilo. I'm sad for him in advance. But yes, I cannot wait to see all of that. So I'm gonna watch right now the episode 7. I'm gonna make a quick review that I'm gonna keep into that YouTube video. And then I'm gonna watch the episode 8. And then I'm gonna come back here to make a review about the 2 episodes. For the reaction part, you have to go into the description. And then come back, please. Maybe you're gonna find some of my series interesting, maybe. Okay, let's go for the episode 7. Are we gonna find Earth? Oh, and I'm gonna eat during this episode. You're not surprised. You know me now. How can he hallucinate her without having a bug into his mind if he's not a Cylon himself? How can he have all of this information about what Cylons are doing, what they want, and all of that, if it's not because he's one of them? How can he know his destiny, having all of these memories about what happened before? Having her trying to manipulate him, having her hurting him to do what she wants, and all of that. Maybe she's representing the silent side of him. They made me doubt at the beginning of this episode, they made me doubt about the fact that he had no bugs and he was going crazy, just that, but no. All of that, all of what they said, all of what they discussed about, no, of course it wasn't just that, but she's not a bug in his head, now we're sure of that. Okay. For me, the Cylon. It means one thing, is a Cylon. And they found how to go to Earth. So Laura, she's gonna die. The scriptures are saying something like, this dying leader is gonna help us to find Earth, but she's never gonna know Earth. That was something like that, no? That the scriptures were saying she's gonna die soon, I think. We'll see. At least now she's in peace again with Adama's father, they are working together. He made peace also with Starbuck and his son, that's great. We still need Starbuck to tell everything that happened to her, to understand what really happened to her with her ovaries. She's gonna go back on Caprica to save Andres and the other guys. And Boomer, she's gonna have her baby, which is in fact the baby that the blonde Cylon was talking about when she was trying to make Gaius having hope for having a child with her. That's disturbing me a lot. If she was talking about Boomer's child, it means really that she was giving that hope to Gaius to have a child with Cylons, not just with her, which is really, I don't know. I found that a little convenient. I don't know how to say it, but that's not their better choice in my opinion. To make these two stories crossing in parallel and in fact it's the same, that's not their best idea in my opinion. Not because it's confusing me, but because of the fact that for what it meant for Gaius to have that child with the blonde Cylon, for me it was meaning a lot more than him having that child because Boomer and Hilo had it together. Do you understand what I mean? For the symbolic, for me it meant really more something if it was Gaius with the blonde Cylon. For me it was really more meaningful. Right there I understand also what it means, but it's not the same. It's not powerful as it was before, you know? It's not as much powerful in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna watch the episode 8 right now. You just have to go again on the reaction part to have my reaction about the episode 8 and I will see you for the review of the 2 episodes. Let's go! Is it just me or we know a lot of them now, a lot of Cylons? Boomer, the blonde one, the doc one, the one who was spaced, the journalist now, and also the one who was killed by Adama's father, no? We know a lot of them now. Not all of them, and I'm still wondering about one of the guys that we already know being also a Cylon and Gaius being a Cylon. Okay, let's not talk about this and like her being a Cylon and telling them that, but she has to tell them that into a ship. So they are still existing into the ship, a version of them. Let's not talk about that. What I want to talk about is this episode. I think that the context of this episode is really important when it was written. You know, the first season was written just after 9/11 and just after, you know, people discovering what new terrorists can be, the fact that you can't tell who is really a terrorist, the fact that you can be attacked just like that by surprise in your own space, you know, in your own country and all of that. And that was really something that we really saw during the first season. Like, we had a lot of episodes which were really about that, about suspecting everyone to be the enemy, about being paranoid about that, about the fact that you can't tell who is really a Cylon, the fact that you might be threatening someone to be one and in fact is not, the fact that they were fighting for religion. Really, all of that was during the season 1, and during this season 2, so far before this episode 8, we didn't have a lot of that, you know, a lot of subjects because of that. It was really for the story, for Cobol, for the Earth, for all of that, and for the characters. But this episode was much more about a subject in particular because of the context when the show was written. And I think that this episode was written into that context of the Iraq War for US, you know, the second one, and the fact that during that time we began to know that they were making mistakes and they were also, you know, torturing people and making fun with them, you know, these pictures, these photos that they took with people in bad position, in pain and all of that, tortured. That was something during that time, I think, and this episode, you know, it was made to show us that, okay, they made a mistake, you know, during that Gideon accident, but also that they can make mistake by taking drugs, by not being great people, you know, just that they can make mistakes because they are not listening really each one of them. Like Starbuck, she said that Kat had a problem, but Lee wasn't listening to that. They covered, you know, this Gideon accident. They didn't make justice for the ones who died during that accident. You know, all of that. And to show that, okay, they are making a lot of mistakes, but at the end they're still fighting for saving the fleet, they're still fighting to save the human race, to protect them and all of that. And I think that it was made during that context where people who were watching the show were maybe doubting about their army and needed a remind about the fact that the army is still fighting for them. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not saying that this is a propaganda episode, not at all. I'm saying that this episode is a consequence of what was happening in real life. I'm saying that this episode is reflecting what was happening in real life, the fact that people were doubting maybe about their army, some of the people, and some others were still like, okay, but we have to forgive them because they are fighting for us, to protect us, and all of that. They are showing these two sides of the story during this episode, even if at the end they are choosing a side. Clearly they are choosing a side, but in my opinion, the fact that they are choosing a side at the end of the story is more guided by the show, by the fact that it's a fleet, you know. They are, you know, the only humans still alive, so of course the context is different. For me it's more guided by that than really by publicity stuff for the army or something like that. No, I really don't think so. But I really think that this episode is really reflecting what was happening during that time when it was written. And of course, you know, for how the show is written since the beginning, it was gonna choose that side of the story because we are with the military since the beginning of the show. We are on their side, so of course it was gonna be like that. But I love that they talked also about the freedom of the press during this episode, because if you don't know it, I'm a journalist, so I love that, even if the journalist was not great because she went into the ship with already an idea of what she wanted to say. That's not the job of a journalist. You are seeing stuff, you are writing them, you are filming them, and you are telling to people, okay, it happened like that. But you're not deciding before what you're gonna say. I thought that she was changing her mind during the episode. I thought that we were ending with good stuff for the crew, for the Battlestar Galactica, but also for the journalist. But she's a Cylon! That's really bad. For a lot of reasons. Because she said to other Cylons who are still on the fleet, like right there, to show them these images just like that, they are still into the fleet. So we have some of them into the fleet. But because of the fact that they are showing them that Boomer is still alive, the baby is still alive, they're gonna do something. I mean, these Cylons who are still alive, they're gonna go to kidnap her, to take the baby, to do something. Maybe they're gonna let her having the baby and then they're gonna steal it. We'll see. But that's really not great, because it means that she's a Cylon, that we have still Cylons on the fleet, that they know that Boomer is still alive and that the baby is still alive. It's all for Battlestar Galactica for you and for me for today, so it's all for me for now, so bye for now. Bye!
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Hey.